Hello again, everyone. It's Nikki Batgirl D'Angelo along with Ben Lesnick for another Bensday with Batgirl Ben. Hi, Ben. How you been for the last 2 weeks?
Not too bad. Things are going well here.
Yeah. So you got a bunch of ships that should be hitting shortly, kind of soon, kind of,
We've got a
sort of.
variety of ships in the pipeline.
Yeah.
Myself, I've been working on the Crucible this past week, wrapping up the final design stuff. Where
Okay. Do you have a general idea on like relationship to another ship size wise?
it's not huge, but it's large enough to store a Gladiator or a Hornet in its inside its bay.
A Gladiator or a Hornet in its bay? Wow, that's
It's pretty large, so it's large, but
yeah.
not. Yeah,
So like a carrack size.
yeah, I would say so.
All right, that's good. Wow, awesome. I like that. And you're moving pretty fast on a couple other designs. I know that you're probably going to have a few more ships for us besides the Retaliator and the Constellation ready for 2.0 when it drops tomorrow. No, sorry, not tomorrow, but
Yeah, I can't say specifically the day 2.0 drops. I imagine it probably will just be the Retaliator and the Constellation, but we
yeah.
have a number of others that are coming along shortly after.
All right. I know that shortly after we're hoping that we get our. And so the ships that are in game right now, like Cutlass, will we be able to use the multi stations in the Cutlass when it comes out, or will we have to wait for that to be developed out?
So the base Cutlass is in process now. I
Okay.
don't know if it'll be done for 2.0 or not. I think probably not.
All right. Well, let's get to the viewer questions. I could sit here all day and come up with many. I have another 2.0 and CCU question. It comes from Adam12. Now that we have seen terrific work Turbulent has done on the CCU system and the groundbreaking star map, I'm excited for 2.0. Any word on progress? And I know that you're going to say I don't know, but we have to ask this to tell you how important it is to us. It is
No,
very
def-
important.
definitely know how important it is, but it's getting to the point where let's see, how do I? We put out Organizations 1.0 without a game to tie them into,
Right.
which made for a much simpler way to get the system out. But it also, it got people into the universe before we had a world to put them in. At this point, we're about to kick off that world, but it makes Organizations 2.0 infinitely more difficult. So it's still in development. Can't say when. I can never say when.
Okay.
But when it does hit, it's going to be a whole lot more interesting because it'll tie right into the game.
All right, awesome. It's good to know. I mean, we are kind of excited and eager to get it because when you run an org, I run an org. I have the enablers, which if you want to join us, come look for us on the organization page. It's easy to manage the social aspect of the organization right now, but it's not easy to organize the structure of the organization right now. So we're hoping that you see how much we all want it, but thank you very much for the update on that.
Oh no, we know, and it's in the plans. It's
Okay.
not something we'd ever forget about.
So Michael Williams has a question of the object that we're supposed to get from helping out Richard Garriott. So is there any word about the soda crossbow?
We designed it. We have done work on it. It's not finished, but it will come before launch.
Okay, we'll come before launch of the PT of the player universe, the PU, not 2.0.
Not 2.0. No.
Okay.
You're not going to get any random surprises like that before 2.0.
Okay, that's fine.
But in general, I really can't answer when questions.
Okay. I remember seeing the artwork, and if you're a subscriber, the artwork is inside of the subscriber area called the Vault, but it's also plastered somewhere on the comm link if you go back far enough. It is actually pretty cool looking, and having a crossbow in the game I'm pretty excited about. It's that stealthy way of trying to take your friendly enemy out. Krell wants to know, there was a comment made during Reverse the Verse this week. This isn't this week, this is 2 weeks ago now, that I wanted to ask Ben about. From what was said on the show, the Idris P lacks the ability to add the railgun that the Idris M has. The widely shared assumption until now is that it would be possible to upgrade the Idris P and the PU to M specs. Has this assumption been incorrect all along, or has
No,
something changed?
no, no. It's always been that you can add the hardpoint with an in-universe upgrade.
Yeah.
That has not changed. That will not change. Nothing we might imply or it hasn't changed. It hasn't changed.
It's not going to be easy. Not everyone that has an Idris P is going to be able to upgrade it to an M. It's going to be
No,
difficult.
you have to fulfill a quest, do something in the game to do it.
A quest.
Actually play. Well, yeah, that's what we call a mission.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's pretty interesting. Okay. Pidian, what is the designated role of the Vanguard Warden relative to the Harbinger and to the Sentinel?
What are the roles?
Yeah, what are the different roles? Like, I think that they're asking this, and when I think of this, I think of a fighter that was in the U.S. inventory for a while, like the F-111.
Mm-hmm.
You had F-111s that were long-range bombers called the FB-111. You had tactical bombers that were just the F-111, and you had interdiction fighters that carried missiles and bombs and anti-radiation variants. But except for the bomber, they were all kind of the same.
Oh yeah, I mean,
So is this the same?
Essentially, I mean, when we think more back to World War II, where you would have a kit that would convert your Messerschmitt from a night fighter into a bomber interceptor, that sort of thing.
Okay. So we're talking
But
about.
I am sort of at a loss for how you go,
All right. So
how you go through the material that we have out there and not know what the three roles are.
yeah, there's a lot of material out there. One's a bomber, one's a fighter. It's.
Yeah, well, one is a bomber, one is an electronic warfare ship, and the base model is sort of a long range fighter. We call it basically a sturdy multi-jump fighter.
Right, Pity, and there's a ton of information out there. I think the second part of the question is going to be just as easily answered by looking at the lore behind it that Ben painstakingly had written out. It has the and we could look at that again, and maybe I'll answer that in one of my shows. So, Gerald Evans, regarding the Endeavor, it would seem that the Olympic class is particularly should. It would seem that the Olympic class, in particular, should be able to dock with a capital ship, just as a means of resupply, whether it be via tethered, extended from the bottom, or otherwise. This sounds more like a statement, but what they're asking is regarding farming. Have you thought about having biodomes on the bottom as well to make the upper and lower halves of a biosphere? So what he's looking for is, can we dock this? How do you dock it? What are the ways that it's going to dock? And can you use those biodomes? Can you see an upgrade later on where you have one on top and one on the bottom?
You will be able to dock it. You will not be able to flip them upside down. In fact, if you look at the underside of the ship, you'll see there's sort of there's a connector rail that goes under it that fills up that space, so you can't swap it and have an upside down biodome.
And also, I think if you're creating artificial gravity, it would be a lot more difficult to create it in two different planes than it is in one.
And especially for something like that, you really need the artificial gravity for the biodome.
Yeah, it's not gravity like we still have to figure out how that works. Wow.
Yeah.
Can't wait to read the science behind that again. Cooper Smith, with the release next year, does this imply that the mouse, keyboard, joystick control issues will have been resolved by then?
What?
Ben, I only ask this question to see your reaction every time. Balance comes when the game is released, but yes, there'll be an ongoing thing to resolve any kind of said balance issues, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at 1.3, there's changes to the flight model. There will be changes to the flight model in 2.0.
When you can stay on long enough.
2.1, 2.2, 2.3. Every iteration will be different. When it comes out, will it be fixed? The answer is no, because how do you... It's not a matter of fixing something, it's a matter of making something that we like. And there will be some percentage of the audience that says it's broken no matter what. And we're going in knowing that.
Yeah. And I think that there needs to be some understanding amongst everybody. I'm a joystick person, and I envy the people that have mouse and keyboards, but when I go and I play mouse and keyboard, I really want that joystick and throttle in my hand, and I can play just as well at times as somebody with a keyboard and mouse, though they're much better with gimbals. I understand all the mess. I understand all the arguments here. This is definitely something that will be worked out over time. And they're making us a joystick with trackballs on it that might help us out in the future, right?
Yeah,
That to me
absolutely.
makes
That's
sense.
the way to play Star Citizen.
Yeah, that to me makes sense. And they also have to make it accessible to people that don't have the $200, $300, $400 for a joystick. So, right?
But no reason joystick players shouldn't feel they have the complete experience, and that's what we're working towards.
Well, once you get the trackballs on the joystick, I can't wait to see how that works, or the throttle, to see if that actually does help with the gimbaled weapons a little bit better. To me, that's a lot of extra hand-eye coordination, you know?
Yeah, I see it as something that's going to help people who are really dedicated to this. You know, the esports quality. You know, people who put in the time to learn not how to fly with a joystick and throttle like an airplane, but who learn how to fly a Star Citizen ship. And I think that combination will give you the best of all possible worlds.
Okay.
See what happens.
Now, this next question comes from Cowboy 10 UK, and it has to do with the fidelity of like the panels inside of our system, like the. And I want to bring you, like, one of the people there, was it Travis Day that worked on, when he used to work there? Did he work on DCS at one point?
No.
Digital
no,
Combat Simulations, the A10 simulator? Somebody there did at one point.
I'm not sure.
I interviewed one of them, that's all I remember. So, what they're looking for, and I know what the answer to this is. Chris wants a realistic game, but doesn't want to make it so overpowering that people don't go play it. Have you ever seen the way that DCS works?
Yes, I am.
Have you seen the panel that every single switch, lever, dial, and gauge is painstakingly, accurately modeled, and manipulation is available to you on every one? Are we ever going to see anything close to that fidelity on our ships?
Yeah, that's what Chris wants when designing out the ships. We leave the room to do that. It's certainly not a priority for making the game work, but it is something great that we would like to do as we go.
And most of the panels are placeholders, correct?
Oh yeah, almost everything right now is a placeholder. Other than that, we design it with the idea of we know we might need an animation that uses something here. So.
And is a lot of that tied to what Zane does?
It is, yes.
Okay. And you could think, 1,000 years in the future that the panel is pretty much replaced by your Mobiglass, your helmet visor system, and, hopefully voice commands at some point. That would be cool. Hello, Cortana. Can you please turn on weapon systems? Well, that's paying homage to Halo 5 coming out tomorrow for you people jumping on that bandwagon. JMac wants to know, and JMac, thank you very much for writing in. You are one of the enablers and very important to us. How is work progressing on the control scheme refactor? By this I mean the keyboard bindings and UI for controlling your character and ships. Not what we talked about before, not mouse keyboard versus HOTAS.
Wait, sorry, repeat the question.
In other words, the keyboard schemes, is there a new keyboard scheme refactor? It was probably mentioned a while ago on one of the RTVs, which is why he's asking.
There's a new one coming. It's not in the next release, but I know the guys in the UK are working on a improved control layout. We just sent them some feedback on that, so it's in the works, but not today.
Okay, awesome. And I guess already the fact that we could move between different keyboard mouse configurations rather seamlessly. One way in the hangar, one way in ArcCorp, and one way it works in your ship. So it's kind of dynamic, and I like that it automatically updates that way. So it's pretty cool. Citizen Panda wants to know, we know that the Xi'an Scout opens up for combat. Opens up, like think B-Wing and X-Wing. They both change their configuration. Since you're a Star Wars nut, that's easy, right? Okay, good. By the way, did you guys take Luke off the set so he couldn't show up in that trailer? Is that what happened? He had to be filming Star Citizen, so he's not in the trailer. Can we travel with it in its closed version and only open it up in combat? In mid-combat, can we switch between the two modes to lessen our profile and dodge fire and open up when we have a window of attack? In other words, when does this configuration change happen? And you might as well also include the Reliant since it has a configuration change too. You know?
Um, yeah, you certainly can. I mean, we're putting it in the game right now, so we'll see whether it's not. I mean, the big question is, yes, you can do that. The question remaining is there any benefit to changing it during combat? In my head, I know if I were playing the game that way, I would just become very confused very quickly. Nobody played X-Wing and ever. You could close your S foils during a mission, but
then the
no
lasers didn't charge or work.
Yeah. So yes, you absolutely technically can. We'll see if it has an impact in dogfighting. I don't think I have the hand-eye coordination or the ability to process the situation enough to do that. But it'll be an option for folks.
Okay, cool. Just a couple more left, and one's really long, so we're going to probably try to alliterate it. We're going to try to cut it down. So the first one is from Ad D Pills. So Ad D Pills. He probably works for Jesse and Walt White. Got 2 questions about the Idris. How many fighters can the Idris carry? LOL. And can the Idris land planet side? So we know what these are, but can you reiterate how have you decided how the Idris is going to land on a planet yet?
No.
Okay.
No.
So because when we look at those big giant images, I don't see landing gear right now.
Yeah, it's not going to land in your hangar like another ship. It's much too large.
Okay.
We don't know if it's something like you will probably land in the Argo if you want something in your hangar. So you'll take your Argo down or fighter launch from it.
So not even something like Star Wars 1. I know I said Star Wars 1. I'm sorry, guys. Don't kill me. And Star Wars 2, where they actually showed the big giant frigates and stuff landing on the planet.
No, we're leaning anyway more towards like the original Star Trek movie, where you have your small launch and you go up and you see it in the orbital dockyard, and that's where the bigger ships are.
Okay, so don't expect the Idris because it has grown from frigate to from corvette to frigate size. It is not going to land. And as far as how many can it carry, I think we've had this question many times through different forums, right? It can carry what it could carry.
Yeah, we just wait on that one.
Yeah, obviously we're going to know exactly what it carries when Squadron 42 comes out because that's where we're going to be taking off of. I think there's quite a lot out there, and there's YouTube videos. So if you search that on YouTube, they have the model. However they got that, I don't know, and they put fighters in it. It's pretty cool. All right.
And I think there's a jump point where we actually have a chart of what fighters fit in it. So that's
jump point, and that also comes up broken down, not in magazine, but in the comlink when they do the reruns. So that's pretty good. I don't know if I've seen that one in the rerun yet. So last but not least, let's see if we can do this. One thing I've noticed when talking about aerial combat, it's always divided into 2 categories, World War II and modern. Okay, so we know that Chris likes the World War II style because Modern Warfare, it's fun in DCS, and I'll tell you it is, but it's probably not what we want in this game. What he wants to know is, what about the early and mid-Cold War, specifically jet combat? Jets from the end of World War II up until, say, 1975-ish. There were many interesting designs, both successful failures, guns still very important. I think that this more or less models that because you have lasers and you have missiles, right? So that's more than World War II, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to have an actual, it's the Korean War, it's early Vietnam, but nobody ever describes their product that way. It's always World War II. So yeah, we have more heat-seeking missile.
And they don't always hit, just like he's talking about the kill ratios of Sparrow and Sidewinder were something abysmal, like Sidewinder at 18% and Sparrow at 13%. Our missiles have a better kill ratio than that. That much we know. All right, so, and this was from SW Mark 78. I understand what you're saying with this question. I think that they always fall back on the World War II thing because that's what people could envision better. But I think that you're pointing out the Cold War era. I think that that's what we're actually flying in Star Citizen. It's more Cold War era jets and planes, but they're trying to stylize the ships after things that were in World War II. So
And
Kind of.
I will say, it's never all one thing. We can use an analogy, and it's not a gotcha when you come and say, "Hey, but they didn't have heat-seeking missiles in World War II." Oh,
Yeah.
but they didn't have close-range gunning
They were
engagements in
very
Desert
close in
Storm.
Germany.
Yeah.
Very close. Yeah. If we didn't
Um,
invade when we did, or they pushed us off the beach, we would have been fighting off heat-seeking missiles. So that was pretty cool. All right,
so
Ben.
call it our own pastiche of historical air combat,
You
perhaps.
what?
We can call it our own pastiche of historical air combat.
Yeah. I kind of like the combat in Starland, so that was fun. That was real
Yeah.
good. I don't think anyone played it as much as I did. I don't know.
It was not appreciated in this time.
I bet you if they ever put it on Good Old Games, people will love it. But I don't see Microsoft putting their games out there.
Yeah, they're so wrapped up in their great stuff. I would love to see Freelancer out there.
Yeah. There's ways to get Freelancer. They sell it on Amazon still, sometimes for a lot of money, but they sell it. And then there's a whole bunch of ways to extract it into a installable file and load some pretty good add-ons to it to make the HUD actually fit your screen. I still play Freelancer today. That's why I love Chris's games. Even though he didn't get to finish that game and make it the way that he envisioned it, it still has his storyline in it and stuff, and that was pretty good. All right, Ben, you've got a lot of work to do. We want 2.0 out sometime, so when these people, unlike me, because I work in retail, get the holiday off, they have something to play. So
We will do our best.
Okay. All right. I will talk to you next week. Thank you so much. Enjoy your Halloween. What are you dressing up as?
I'm not sure. Allie is doing something with makeup to me. I'm going to be a cartoon character or something, so we'll see.
But you guys are going to be in costume on Friday during Reverse the Verse, right?
Yeah, we'll dress up for Reverse the Verse.
Okay. And you will be able to tell us if you guys were the ones that took Luke Skywalker out of Star Wars, right?
I assume the movie is a quest for Luke in some way. We'll find out. I have no inside information.
Okay. You didn't get a chance to talk to him, did you?
I've talked to him, but not about that.
All right, good. Thanks, Ben. You have a wonderful week. And with that said, guys, you all be safe out there, and I'll talk to you soon.